Hey guys, we're back for another episode of Melissa's Camp Cooking. Although today we're not going to be cooking outside by the camper, we're going to actually do some of the cooking right here in my home kitchen. It is the holiday time, and it is that time where when you think about camping, there is one thing that you see at the campground every single time when you go out, and that is marshmallows. So today we're going to tackle and we are going to make homemade marshmallows from scratch. That they do take a little bit of time. They have to be made pre-made at home, but you are able to take these to the campground. They are versatile and can be made flavor. They can be made as regular marshmallows, and they can be added to almost anything, whether it be a dessert or whether it be hot cocoa. So let's get started with some of our ingredients that we're going to need. So today we are going to need some confectioner sugar. We are going to need some unflavored gelatin. We're going to need some granulated sugar, some light corn syrup, a little bit of some vanilla extract. I got the good stuff because you want it to taste really good. A little bit of salt and a little bit of ice cold water. So the first thing we are going to do, this takes like 3 steps, and then there is the process of letting it kind of all gelatin together. So our first step is I'm going to take my mixer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put 3 packets of this unflavored gelatin in there, and we're going to add some cold water to the mixer. Adding the cold water to the gelatin is going to help this gelatin to bloom. And you might say, well, what is bloom? Bloom is that gelatin is going to kind of create like this foamy foam it's going to absorb all the liquid, and it's going to help everything gel together. So we're going to open up 3 packets of this. Dump those in there. A half cup of cold water. And then that's all we're going to do for this step. So now we're going to let this gelatin and the cold water, I might just actually mix this down with my mixer just a little bit, is we're going to let this sit. 10 minutes it's got to sit. So you're going to have to just leave it, let it be, and work on the next step because you want this to kind of get really nice and foamy. So for our next step, I'm going to grab a saucepan. In the saucepan, we are going to add our sugar, our corn syrup, some more water, and a little bit of vanilla. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start adding our ingredients to our saucepan. So I'm gonna add 1 1/3 cups of granulated sugar. Some I'm gonna be able to scoop right out. The rest I'll just use my other cup. And then we'll do our 1/3. Now remember, this is baking, so you want to kind of try to be as precise as possible because baking is kind of always, it's very particular. It likes things to be precise. Set that aside. I'm going to grab my light corn syrup. We're going to do 1 cup of that. And we're going to add that corn syrup to that. Scrape out the rest of them in there to make sure we get every little last bit out. Then we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I did say before that we added the vanilla, but actually that was a fib. The vanilla doesn't get added till the very end once we actually get the marshmallows done. Okay, and then our salt. Now once you have all of these 3 ingredients in your saucepan, we're going to go ahead and put it over the flame, and we're going to just gently whisk this until we get everything incorporated together. Sorry, this is not going to mix very well over the stove. Also adding a half cup of cold water. There we go. Now over the stove. This is going to cook over like a medium heat for about 3 to 4 minutes until it becomes completely clear and a little bit bubbly. Be very careful because this is like a sugar syrup, so it is going to be extremely hot. Okay guys, so this is what that mixture over the stove should look like. It's nice and clear. It bubbled up a little bit. I've been making sure we've been consistently whisking it to make sure that it doesn't burn. We're now going to add that to our gelatin that's in the mixer. And we're going to be extremely careful because this is a very hot sugar syrup, so you don't want to burn yourself. So our gelatin and our water has actually bloomed. You can see it has gotten nice and foamy. It's been at least 10 minutes. It is going to bubble up some once you put this in the mix. This hot mixture gets added to this. That's okay. That's why you have to be extremely careful. So we're going to try to pour this in slow. Now you're going to have your whisk attachment on. The next step, you're going to want to make sure you put this on really low, because you do not want to beat this too fast and have all this hot liquid come splattering out. So I would say probably 2 to 3 minutes on low, just to try to get this to start to incorporate. Then we're going to turn up the speed to like a medium, and we're going to mix it for like 10 minutes, and it's going to become like white, fluffy, like a pretty meringue. Okay guys, my marshmallow mixture has been mixing for about 10 minutes. I mixed it for 2 to 3 minutes, just on low, got all that stuff incorporated, and then I flipped it up to high in 10 minutes. I'm going to turn this down for just a minute. Look at that. That looks super yummy. So now, we're going to add 2 teaspoons, look at that, sorry, gelling together. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is what's going to flavor our marshmallows. So it's always good, the best kind of vanilla you can get, not the imitation stuff. And then we're going to set this on to mix again for high for another 2 to 3 minutes. Get all that to incorporate, and then we're going to get ready to turn it out. Now in this step is where we're flavoring with vanilla, so you have like regular marshmallows. But in this step here, this is where you could add different kinds of flavorings or different kind of flavor extracts, whether it be lemon, peppermint, almond, anything you can think of. This is where you could put that in place of using that vanilla extract. Okay guys, so we have mixed our marshmallow mixture for 10 minutes, added our vanilla, so we're on to our next step. So I have a 9 by 13 inch pan. I put some parchment paper underneath so I try not to make a mess. I put my powdered sugar in a shifter. We're gonna go ahead and powder sugar this whole entire pan. This is what's going to actually help the marshmallows to flip out and to come out. You do not want to use spray butter or any of that kind of stuff, or spray oil, because that will make the marshmallows very jelly and gooey. And it's good to have like a shifter, because you want to make sure we sifter. So we'll make sure we can get the stuff everywhere. Now we're just going to pour our marshmallow mixture in the pan. Try to get everything, all that ooey gooey marshmallow out of there. Okay. Then we're going to use the spatula, the back side, to kind of spread this out. Step, what you have to do is we have to powder sugar the top of this also, because when we go to pour these out of the pan, you want to make sure that they're not going to stick. There we go. So I will clean off the powdered sugar that's around the ridges. We're going to cover this with some plastic wrap, and the big thing is this has to set for like at least 8 hours. That mixture and the gelatin and everything that we combine together has to gel together to form that nice ooey gooey soft little marshmallow. So that's why I said this is something you have to make ahead, but once you have these made ahead, we can slice them up, take them out to the campsite. So I'll bring you back in a couple hours. Hey guys, so marshmallows are done. They've been sitting for longer than several hours. I'm going to attempt to try to flip them out and see if we can cut them. So I've just taken a cookie sheet, put a little bit of parchment paper on top of there, and we're going to go ahead and put this on top of my pan. Voila! Okay, so our marshmallows are out. That was one of the things it did say to kind of watch with this, because, you know, that's why you did not use cooking spray or anything. You had to use the powdered sugar, so that way it kind of created a nice film that supposedly is supposed to kind of dump out. So sometimes maybe with having it set a little bit longer, I just had to kind of help it. I am going to dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar. It is nice and actually gelled up like marshmallows, the whole thing. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to dust it a little bit with some powdered sugar on top, just to kind of keep them so that they don't get sticky or slimy. So let me go grab some powdered sugar. So I'm just cutting off the edges because I'm trying to make them nice and pretty. And then the thing is to take some powdered sugar, make sure you kind of dust all of your edges because that's what's going to keep it from getting all gummy and stuff. And we have made marshmallows. If you actually do this in a smaller pan, maybe like not a 9x13, you could actually get a thicker and denser marshmallow. Let's go ahead and try that end. Oh my God. It's literally a marshmallow. So I would recommend, like I said, mine stuck to the pan a little bit. I let it set actually overnight instead of the 8 hours because I was so swamped and busy yesterday. You might have to actually coax it out of the pan. You might have to use a little bit of butter knife like I had to do to get it out. Just make sure that once you recoat, once you cut all of them into nice little squares or whatever kind of shapes you want, redust them with some powdered sugar, and then you literally can do anything with them. Okay guys, so I have cut out the perfect square marshmallow. It looks delicious. It looks light, fluffy, jumbo. And a jumbo marshmallow. So I'm just gonna go, I went ahead and I melted down some some milk chocolate with some heavy cream. I'm just gonna dunk this sucker. Oh, look at that. So now I'm gonna let it kind of set up, but try to not make a mess on my plate here. There we go. And then I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of some coconut on there. And take a look at that. That looks amazing. Imagine that on a piece of graham cracker out at the campfire on a cold winter's evening for this fall.
Just get down in the flame. The wind is messing it up.
There you go, guys. Look at that beautiful marshmallow. I'm going to attempt to try to get it off my thing. The perfect homemade marshmallow for the perfect campfire s'more. Take a look at that. Oh my God, that looks delicious. This is gonna be a mess. So good, you gotta try that. Guys, these marshmallows are pretty versatile. You can go ahead and do them up. You can make them and toast them with s'mores. The biggest thing is that they're gonna cook a lot faster. There's not a lot of preservatives in them, so they just need to be lightly toasted because they're gonna ooey gooey melt up pretty quick. You can actually just go ahead and throw them on a cup of hot chocolate out there at the campfire. When you guys are sitting around the campfire that night talking with family and friends. You can even take, I think I'm actually going to use some of mine for my holiday casserole on top of my sweet potato casserole. So awesome recipe, very versatile. You can make them flavored, you can dunk them in chocolate, you can even for Christmas time, you could dunk them in chocolate and put some peppermint on top. That would be awesome. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this cooking show with making some marshmallows. Go ahead and click the like button, follow us for the next videos that are going to be coming up because I just love to cook and love to make these easy campfire meals for you guys. So from my kitchen to yours, have a great holiday, guys.